and 1. Hey, Matt, how are you doing
Hey,
today?
how's it going, Nestor?
Yeah, doing pretty well. Matt, today it's a really beautiful day. Here in Latin America, last 2 days we had the super moon. So it's
Oh yeah, yeah, nice.
that yeah that was is actually because today it will be another night of a super moon here in Latin America. So this is one of the things that I really love about nature because you are surprised you every single day that you are going and live the beauties of nature. And thinking about that, last week I was reading a book that is called Metahumans. This book is written by Dr. Deepak Chopra,
Mhm.
and he was actually stating that we all live in a simulation based on the way that we perceive reality from our senses. So, not to be very technical, but at the end, the thing that calls actually my attention is that traditionally there are 7 chakras. Okay? Yeah, I will read them because I don't want to
Yeah,
make a mistake here. So the
this is
first
kind
one
of a
is,
new concept to me as well. So like
yeah,
something I've
you
kind
know,
of heard before, but I'm not familiar. So please share.
yeah, because we are all the time talking about, hey, the chakras and the chakras.
Yeah,
What are the
I had no
chakras?
idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. The first one is bliss. So how to
Okay.
live a blissful life. The second one is intelligence, but is more the creative intelligence.
Okay.
Third one is self-expression. Yeah, how do we express based on the thing that we are have inside of us? Four, love. Five, self-empowerment. Six, sensuality, or the sensual pleasure, not just the sexuality, but the sensuality.
Sure.
And seven, security and safety. But I was thinking, yeah, I think something is missed here that is the curiosity.
Nice.
And the conversation that I will want to propose to you today is what if the eighth chakra is curiosity?
I like it.
Um, because this is not just a way of explaining our mindfulness or maybe our life or the way we took decisions, but a way for living, natural and blissful way to live.
Yeah.
And if we add the eighth chakra, curiosity to this list, I think Dr. Chopra won't be angry at us. But maybe it's a way to support the way that we can live and be more creative and innovative.
Sure.
But just to be more specific, because let's take advantage of for the time that we have today. It's the first chakra, the number one is bliss. Bliss. It's the blissful life. Uh, how curiosity uh, add value to bliss? What do you think?
And my understanding is all these chakras work together too, right?
Yeah,
So
they
there's
work together. Yeah, if you
you
go
represented. So
scientific, is go from straight at the top of
yeah.
your head to your.
Yeah. So if we want to make a strong argument for why curiosity, if I understand correctly, why curiosity should be an eighth chakra, we have to kind of prove how it connects to all seven or works
Mhm.
so forth, right? Well, bliss, and again, now I'm kind of the novice. I'm not the expert in the chakras, but when I think of bliss and this experience, in many ways, it's kind of what I think of the experience one goes through when they have curiosity, right? When you go, oh, what is it? What is it? What is it? And, oh, wow, right? That kind of discovery, that aha moment. And I think curiosity fits into bliss in that when you experience real genuine curiosity, bliss is an outcome. It produces bliss. And I think the more curious you are, the more open you are to blissful experiences. It's not a guarantee. I can be curious, what's on the other page, and oh wow, interesting, but it's not blissful. But occasionally you'll turn it, and there is so. The more open you are to curiosity, the more trained or prone you are to curiosity or being curious, I think the more opportunities you have to experience or to find bliss.
Okay, I think that's a perfect explanation.
Okay.
The second one is the creative intelligence. We are all every single day talking about the importance of being a creative person. Of
Mhm.
course, we've been raised based on the intelligence. We are measuring intelligence every single day.
Mhm.
But in order to be a creative person, but not just in the terms of technicalities, but in terms of chakras, the
Yeah.
creative intelligence, if you add the curiosity, what do you think? How do you think it transforms?
So this is nice because this is when I can point directly to science and like the latest neuroscience and psychology, and we can provide links. It's all on our site. We provide them all over and over and over. But there's a growing amount of neuroscience that proves um, the motivator, the primary motivator for engagement and creativity is curiosity. There's a paper that came out this year because it used to be, creativity and curiosity, like a chicken or the egg, which comes first. And honestly, I don't know. And I was like, well, it's up for debate, or I'm open for either. And I still am. But, and I don't even look at it as competitive. It doesn't, like, if one comes first or second, it doesn't devalue the other. But there is a paper that came out recently. I don't have time to look it up right now. We can share the link. But it does suggest that curiosity is the primary motivator for creativity. And I know, I assume with this, the chakra that you're saying, it's not just creativity at creating, but like creative intelligence and so on. Well, curiosity motivates or inspires these actions, for a variety of reasons. And I think that's where this comes into, again, the eighth chakra of curiosity, how it connects to creativity. Well, there's definitely neuroscience that can start pointing to this. That's the way the chemicals in our brain work. But also when you think about just when you are being curious, if you even think of curiosity as that real narrow definition of like the desire to learn something new, well, when you learn something new, you're increasing your intelligence potentially. Yeah. The process of learning that something new, it can be creative, and what you do with that intelligence, what you produce, is a creative act. So I think there's a lot of connection between curiosity and creativity.
Yeah, it is indeed it is. The chakra number three, uh, the representation actually, the chakra number three,
Mhm.
it's here, it's around your mouth,
Okay.
and it's called self-expression. And one of the things that actually in our society, and I would say nowadays,
Mhm.
it's getting more and more traction and importance. It's to be able to communicate ideas. It
Mhm.
is very important to be able to communicate with other people,
Yep.
even if we don't know them before. Being able to communicate in different languages,
Mhm.
with different tools. But at some point, we are so worried about doing it wrong that the same motivation to do it is
Mhm.
the same motivation to not to do it. And yeah, that's true. We are professors, and we
Yeah,
know
yeah.
that we have students, and they all are in the same problem. But if we add curiosity to this self-expression,
Mhm.
how do you think things change?
Nice. I'm going to try to give you a short answer to this one because I love this. Um, the best way to become a better speaker is to become a better listener. And the best way, or to the best way to better express yourself, is to pay attention and to listen how others are expressing themselves. And well, what's the best way to become a listener? What's the best way to pay attention to others? Curiosity. Like, we can stare at each other, and if I'm thinking about something else, I'm not really listening to you, right? But if I'm curious about what you have to say, if I have this desire to learn, right? If I'm seeking bliss in what you have to say, nothing else matters. I'm locked in. I'm listening to what you have to say. I'm watching how you say it. And it makes me a better, speaker, communicator, because I can speak more directly to what you're wanting, to your needs. But also, I'm picking up clues. I mean, for the communication, but I'm also picking up tips, hacks. Hey, he did a really good. I like the way he did this. I like, there's a saying like steal like an artist, right? You can kind of pick up. This is a really effective speaker. I'm going to start, incorporating those elements in how I communicate instead of just thinking, I wonder how I could be a better speaker. Be curious, observe, listen to others, and then adapt and use that on your own. Steal, yeah, copy and paste, yeah. So I think, yeah, that's definitely one way that curiosity can connect to this idea of this chakra of communication.
Yeah, I think that's a very good way to connect both terms. I've never think that before, and I have to be honest. This is one of the things that is the beauty of having conversation.
Yeah.
I'm curious about what you have to say. You're curious about the way this conversation is going on. So it takes us to the number four. The number four, it might be a controversial thing. It might be a word that we are using every single day. In, depending on the context that we are
Sure.
using it, it have different meanings. That is love. The chakra love, uh, very simple to know where it is represented in our body. It's here in our chest.
Okay.
What's the curiosity of love? You know, what is curiosity in love?
So, all right, not to get too philosophical on you, but it's interesting. Love is a very kind of elusive word, right? But when you think about it, what what love is doing what you're not supposed to do. Like, we're humans, we're animals, we've got the reptile brain, and we, we eat, poop, and sleep every day, right? That's our primary function, and we have certain program kind of protocols. Like, this is what we're attracted to, this is what we like, this is what we don't like, this is blah blah blah. And love is the thing that breaks us out of our programming for at least brief moments of time to say, you know what? I know my survival is all I'm programmed to do, but I'm going to pause, sacrifice my resources, time, money, energy, everything else to take care of somebody else, to cohabit with somebody else, or to raise a child, and, or to do these other things that make no sense, or, to do these other, and it manifests in other ways, right? Love can be a lot but when you think about it, we think about the ooey gooey kind of stuff, but really, when you think about it, love, and a lot of times, is when we kind of break from the norm, when we do the things that we're not, kind of programmed to do, when we stop acting like animals. And I think curiosity is a trigger of that. Curiosity is what kind of sets us off that path that we're on, and say, you know what, maybe I should go talk to that girl, or go hang out with that guy, or do, I mean, I know I'm better off just taking care of myself, but you know what, I think it's worth the risk. What if, right? I, sacrifice a little bit of my self-interest to help somebody else out, right? Because that's really what love comes down to, is where do you sacrifice your own self-interest for that of others? And that's a hard leap to make unless you're curious. Curiosity can be that thing that pushes you to where you allocate your love. So, yeah.
Yeah, and I think beyond that, there are endless questions that we can ask using the what if and the love. If we put the what if and the love together,
Yeah.
what if I love my enemy? What if I love every single of my neighbors? What if I love the police? What if I love violence? What if I love peace? So
Yeah.
it's endless possibilities, and I think this is the place where curiosity actually adds a lot of value to the chakras and the way of living. Number five is self empowerment. We are very used nowadays to hear, to talk even about mindfulness, the importance of health care, especially the mental health.
Yep.
And this is an important part because everybody is looking for empowerment, for self empowerment, for
Yeah.
self development, for successful actions. And curiosity, I think, is a powerful tool that we can add to this chakra.
Oh,
But I would love to listen to you.
well,
Yeah, there you
for self empowerment, I'm kind of looking at the other side. One of the I flash back to, again, one of some of the science behind curiosity and the components. One is risk tolerance, right? Or
go. Okay.
well, not just risk tolerance, but I'm sorry, that one as well, but also it's a high distress tolerance, like a high level of distress tolerance. Meaning, when you're curious, you have a high level of tolerance for when things go wrong, or when things go unpredictable, or when things aren't aren't known, when they're obscure, right? And I think a lot of times, like our own self-worth, our own self, what we do, right, is how we project the future, or how we project our success, or how we project what's next. Yeah. And that brings us anxiety. It's like, oh no, I failed in the past, so I'm not going to even try this in the future because it's not going to work out. So I'm just going to sit right here, and then you get kind of stuck in these ruts. But when you have a high level of curiosity, you've trained your curiosity. When a new opportunity or a moment of action arises, rather than pausing or stalling or falling backwards, your curiosity just jumps you forward. It automatically pushes you forward because you have this super high distress tolerance. Like the ambiguity of nature, or of the unknown doesn't really terrify you. And even if you fail, you're like, okay, well, we'll try it again. Like, it's again that energy of curiosity going forward. So I think one of the great things that curiosity ties into this, the self empowerment, is I talk about curiosity being not just an energy, but this perpetual motion machine. So it's fueled by its own energy, and when you can get that in you, then it's easier to. I personally, I believe, I think, and there's evidence to support this as well. But it becomes easier to take those steps forward and take those actions that you might otherwise be afraid or anxious to. There's a lot
Well,
of self empowerment that comes from curiosity.
yeah, and I think we can have for each one just more than 1 hour conversation.
Oh yeah. I can go on and on and on.
Yeah, yeah, we can go on. And this number six actually is one of my favorite chakras, and I think at the same time is one of the most uh, misunderstood chakra.
Yeah.
That is the sensual
Yeah,
pleasure
sensual.
and the sensuality, because this chakra is not just about sexuality, not sexuality. It's
No.
sensuality. It's the senses,
Yeah.
the our eyes, our hands,
All the
the
senses.
touch, the feelings, all the senses.
Yeah.
And one of the best examples that I recall from many conversations with you is the way that we learn that actually fire burns.
Yep. Yep.
It's the curiosity that makes us take action, and with our sense of
Yep.
feeling, we know that fire burns.
Yeah.
It's the curiosity that actually creates the previous action that creates the consequences of feeling, of sensing things.
Yeah.
And just when I travel, I love to travel. This year I had the opportunity to go to Yellowstone,
Yeah. Yeah.
and I think it's the time of my life and the month, because it was a full month, that I really was um, sensing my senses that I've never was aware before, that can help, that can create happiness, that can create many feelings, just the way that you are using it. Is be able to see this stuff, be able to uh,
Breathe it in, like.
yes, to
Yeah.
breathe it in. It was beautiful, but it's not just by chance. It's no, it was a chance that I took the water. Oh my God, I was myself.
Yeah.
How do we use the curiosity to improve the sensual pleasure?
Yeah, I think there's a lot the same way, we talk. That's why I don't always like that definition of curiosity being just like a desire to learn, a strong desire to learn something more. It's a strong desire to experience something more, right? So I
Okay.
think when we talk about sensuality in the senses, I think curiosity is a main driver here. And if you can learn to be more curious with the senses, I think it trickles down to improvements throughout the rest of your life. Hence why it's a good chakra, right? The example I would give, and because you were already talking about travel, is one is curiosity probably pushed you to Yellowstone, and it pushed you up the mountain, and it pushed you to the fresh mountain air, and it pushed you to these things that affected your body, that eventually you took in, and it affected your brain and your body and your soul and everything else. Is again, the curiosity is the initial push. but I also link it. I also like thinking about curiosity in food. And food taste is a very sensual experience. And you have some people. I always get frustrated by a lot of Americans here. That's like all they eat is McDonald's, cheeseburgers and French fries. And it's like there's other food, and not again. I say not to be judgmental, but maybe I will be. Is the person who only eats like a McDonald's hamburger and French fries over and over and over, and has no curiosity about trying foods from different countries or different styles or
Okay,
different.
okay, okay.
They tend to be super dull people. I mean, no offense, but like, and even if they're, but and I don't mean offense, because even if they're dull, if they start eating more interesting foods, they'd immediately become more interesting. Because you could go to like an Indian restaurant and try some Indian foods and go, wow, I've never tasted this spice before. What is that? And you Google, what ingredients do Indians use? And you learn about curry, and you learn about cumin, you learn about all of this other, and you go, oh wait, there's more than one kind of pepper. Like you can see where your tongue can lead to other thoughts, or even travel or culture. I don't know about anybody else, but I'm trying to think. I've gone to places just to try something from there, just to eat there. Right? There's a restaurant down the road here that is just called Arepas, and I'm going to go there because I want to travel to Colombia without getting on an airplane. Right? So there's a lot that I think the sensual. Again, I keep saying all of these are easy, and you're right. We could speak an hour for each one, but curiosity and sensuality, I think, go hand in hand. From food to travel to physical exercise to anything that you do with your senses. I think there's a deep connection between the two.
Okay, I think curiosity it's the tool. I would say is the plugin to
Yeah,
the chakra
I
that
like it. You
give
plug it.
you that let yourself uh, give yourself the opportunity to try new things
Exactly.
via your senses, and you'll be impressed. And the thing is, you will have, at the worst case scenario, a
Mhm.
sensual experience.
Uh,
Now,
How many times has your nose triggered your curiosity? You walked outside, you smelled something, and you like a
I would
dog.
say
You
many
follow,
times a day.
and you follow. Where's that coming from? What is it? Right? Yeah. Every sense, nose, ears, tongue. Yeah, yeah. Nice.
And the seventh one, it's security and
Yeah.
safety.
Yeah.
We are very used to take for granted the definitions of security and safety. It's the protection of my private property. If
Yeah.
we are talking Eastern capitalist people, it's the protection of my family. It's for centuries, I would say
Yeah.
millions of years. If we say safety, it's the protection of my belongings. But I think it's beyond that. The security and safety at the personal level, at the community level, not just the rights to not be disturbed for external forces, but as well to know at a certain level that I'm walking the right path in my life. It's a certain level to have the trust and think that I'm doing that it will take me to a better
Mhm.
place
Mhm.
in the future. And I think we need to be very curious ourselves in the way that we think about safety and
Yeah.
security because it's just not the creation of our personal bubble,
Yeah.
but the creation of a better world. And I think here curiosity is not about hey, what's the new gadget that I can create just to be more safe.
Uh-huh.
No, it's what if safe safety is safety.
Mhm.
It's more just than the protection of external elements on
Mhm.
my personal bubble. What's your take on this?
No, I agree with everything you're saying, and even to build on it is safety and security doesn't always have to be defensive, right? It doesn't have to only be, let's build up the castle walls and get my weapons and everything else. It could be, there could be an element, but what if part of safety is and security is preparation or confidence or and if you're curious, and again that curiosity, you're kind of on a high alert. One is that curiosity can drive you for information gathering, for understanding, for constantly being aware of what you should be concerned about and what not. And as we've discussed before, and we'll discuss more, is that you can quickly turn your curiosity about something into actions or into something that you can understand better or get from your curiosity. And so, as it pertains to safety and security, if you're in need of that, there are ways to use your curiosity to quickly deliver. Again, if it's defensive or not even just offensive, but preventative, right? There's your curiosity can, and I think the last thing I mentioned is confidence. I think there's a lot that you can do by being a curious person, by being curious in your learning, and by learning and adapting using curiosity. I think it also provides a certain confidence in you that whatever the situation, we're not when we talk about safety and security, it's not always about someone breaking into your house or getting in a fight. It could just be, can I provide for my family, right? Can we just kind of basic stuff, yeah? And I think curiosity on the most basic level can provide a level of confidence, satisfaction in life that allows you to be more open and able to do things that you need for safety and security.
That's very powerful, actually. The thing that you just said, that if we use the term of curiosity and safety, and we change from the personal interest and just the ego to the community, it's changing the way that we are interpreting or creating the definitions of safetiness. But I think that's the beauty.
I'm always more curious, rather than finding ways to build more prisons, I'm always interested in finding ways we can improve education so we don't create more criminals, or we can create better families. I mean, so that would be a way to, how can we use our curiosity to find solutions that prevent the problems rather than solving the problems. Yeah.
That's so powerful, man. So, okay. I think we went beyond the time that we usually use. Yeah, but it's perfectly fine because I think this is a very powerful tool.
Yeah.
And as always, I want to say that we can use the curiosity in everything. And if we use the curiosity to build upon different terms or different way of thinking, I think we can create more than just the things that we are consuming. Yeah. And I think Dr. Chopra will be happy if he listens to you the way you are interpreting. That actually we are interpreting in the usage of curiosity and the 7 chakras and how we can create a better living. So Matt, it was really nice to see you today. As usual, I really love these conversations, and I hope people will listen this conversation at some point and take something for their own lives.
Thanks for introducing me to something new. This is the concept of curiosity as the 8th chakra is something I'll definitely be using. So thanks.
Okay, this is something to. That is actually worth the time, and maybe the future might be something that is worth to write about the 8th chakra.
I think so. Nice.
Yeah, Matt, so nice to see you.
Have a good one. Thanks.